Hey guys, first of all I just want to say a big thanks for purchasing the Obi Pop Alternative Collection. As I said in the walkthrough video, by purchasing the product you purchase the right to use all these sounds and all the MIDI loops on whatever projects, songs, instrumentals that you might be working with. So basically what that means is it's 100% royalty free. It doesn't mean you can take this product and sell it or resample it and sell it, but what it does mean is you can use the MIDI loops and the sounds for whatever songs you might be creating or instrumentals, 100% royalty free. So you can put them up on Spotify, sell them, do whatever you want, and you don't have to pay any royalties to Multitracks or myself for that. So that's kind of how that works. And I realized that most people don't like to read install manuals anymore, so I thought I'd do a video just showing you how to install the product. So these Logic and Mainstage patches aren't presets, they're actual samples from my analog OB6. So you just need to put specific folders in specific locations just so Mainstage and Logic can see them, and different templates can find these samples as well. Okay, so what happens once you've downloaded everything? It should look something like this. You'll get Logic patches, you'll get Mainstage patches as well, you'll get a Logic template if you own Logic, and we've got Mainstage template as well. We've also got all the MIDI loops set out there that you can drag and drop into any DAW and use them however you want. We've got obviously the install manual, which you must have opened to get to this video, and you'll have to download all the samples separately, but I suggest once you've downloaded them separately, just putting them all in one and naming it something like samples. So I'll walk you through where you need to drop everything. Just pause the video or go back if I'm going too fast. So first of all, I'm going to show you where to drop the Logic patches and the Mainstage patches. So where you need to drop them is, if you look at the bottom, Macintosh hard drive, users, obviously not my name, whatever your name is or whatever your computer name is, put it in there. Mine's Peter James, obviously. Music and patches. So basically what you need to do, just drag and drop. If you hold Command, you can select two things at the same time and drop them in there. I'm not going to do that because I've already done that before. And I labeled the folders just abbreviated Obi Pop Alternative Collection, just so it shows up better in Logic and Mainstage. So once you've done that, they'll show up in Logic in this location. So if you go to the left hand side where it says library, if that's hidden, just hit this little thing at the top and go to user patches, Mainstage patches, and they'll show up here. You might be asking, why have you got Logic patches and Mainstage patches? Aren't they the same? Well, yes they are, but there's a little weird thing that happens when you import kind of multi-patches into Logic. I just know it worked better if I imported them separately. So it shows up like this with the two patches under that label, which is a lot easier to work with than having to load like 2 or 4 separate patches and try to figure out how they go together. So obviously use them for Logic, and the Mainstage ones use them for Mainstage. They just work better with those. Hard to explain why, but it's just how Logic imports multi-patches and how Mainstage imports multi-patches. So let's go to Mainstage. You also get this template obviously with it, but if you've opened a separate template or the one that you usually work from, once you've dropped those folders into the correct location, they'll show up in Patch Library, User Patches, and then just click on that and it'll just load it straight in. So that's the location of the patches once you've done that. Okay, let's show you where we drop the samples in EXS24 patches. So basically you'll have a samples folder if you put them all in the same samples folder, and if you go to the Logic template, even if you don't own Logic, just go here and select all of these EXS24 patches. Now we need to put them in this location over here. So go Macintosh hard drive, library, application support, Logic, sampler instruments. Again, I've created folders for that, so just right mouse click, new folder, name that whatever you want to. As you can see with these green tags, I've labeled one Obi Pop Alternative Collection, and the second one same thing but with samples on the end. So drop all of those. So just go click at the top, hold shift down, click at the bottom, and then just drag and drop them all in there. I've already done that, so I'm not going to do that again. And you don't actually have to put the samples in the same location, but it just makes it easier trying to find them if you ever lose them, if they're in the same location. So get your samples folder, either drag the whole folder, relabel it there, or do it this way, create it in the location I just showed you, and drag and drop all of those samples in there. Now the reasoning behind putting it in that folder is so all your different Logic templates and all your different main stage templates can find them. You could put them in the Logic template you're working with, but then you'd have to keep doing that for every separate Logic kind of project you're working on. Same with MainStage. So putting it in this location means MainStage and Logic can access it from any template. You could put it in this other location, which is Macintosh hard drive users, your computer name, music, audio music apps, sampler instruments, but I usually put it in this one. The computer should be able to find it from both locations, but this is the default one that I put everything in. I think that's about it. So actually, there's one last thing. If you already have Logic open, you may need to go to the EXS24 player and hit refresh menu. That just refreshes the whole menu, and then all those files will turn up in exactly kind of how you've set it up in that location I just showed you. But for adding them in, I suggest not using the separate EXS24 patches, but using the Logic patches if you're in Logic, and MainStage patches in MainStage, because you're loading multiple patches at the same time for some of them. Yeah, so that's the kind of walkthrough install process. Again, thanks for purchasing the product, and I hope you enjoy it.